Will ChatGPT be the end of writing? Hi, I'm Jim. I'm a writer, educator, and content creator. And in this video, I would like to address this question as best I can. Let's start off with some definitions. What is ChatGPT? Well, I asked ChatGPT what ChatGPT is, and this is the answer that I got.
I am an AI language model developed by OpenAI, trained on a large corpus of text data to generate human-like responses to questions and prompts.
Okay, so it's a generative language model, AI. It's basically good at mimicking human responses. It looks at a probability distribution for what words mean, given denotation, connotation, context, and so on. Sometimes it gets things wrong, but essentially it's really good at guessing what you mean and looking at the data that it has access to and giving you the answers that you want. Kind of like a limited version of Siri, but also better able to communicate with you. And of course, these things will continue to evolve and get better over time. So that's really the enemy, so to speak. So let's look at writing. What is writing? Here's my own definition for writing. Writing, at its core, is a proxy for human thought, distilled through the framework of a given language. It is a vehicle for expression and for transferring information. It is sometimes personal and at other times objective. What are some apt analogies to compare ChatGPT to? The main comparison that I keep hearing over and over is to that of the calculator. Let's consider the calculator. It's a useful tool, and before the calculator, calculators were people. People would do large sums, and that's where the name comes from. Now, the calculator does take away some of the drudgery of math, and this is good because you save time and you can focus more on what's important about math, or at least we think is important about math, generally speaking, and that is greater focus on creativity and on problem solving. In this way, it's an apt analogy, I think. ChatGPT and future language model AIs will improve writing efficiency. And I think it will be a tool that will be not only available to students, but that students will use. Just like the calculator, there may be times where ChatGPT and other such language model AIs will be used, and other times when they won't. But writing is a bit different. Perhaps a better analogy is to what has happened in the world of chess. Today, chess machines are better than any human at playing chess. And yet human chess is still a thing. Why? Because we're not machines, we're people. And we care what people think and feel. And until that happens with AI, AI poetry and stories will be an interesting parlor trick. In chess, computers are used all the time to help people get better at chess. And I think such will be the case for writing too. Now, these computers are also used to help people cheat. So it depends on what your goals are. Let's say your goal, like me, is to be creative as a writer. ChatGPT can give you ideas. Rewrite the movie Twins, but as a horror film. And this is what ChatGPT came up with. Fun, but a little bit generic. Still, it can inspire you to create something new. However, you also don't want to rely too heavily on these things because that just promotes laziness. So you might want to think of your own ideas and then ask ChatGPT a question like this to see if it can spark new ideas. If you get too used to letting a generative AI like this generate ideas for you, um, then that skill of generating ideas somewhat atrophies. You can also use ChatGPT to help you solve problems. Here's a problem that I had in trying to write some fan fiction set in the Star Trek universe. Quote, who would most likely be on the bridge at the beginning of a Star Trek The Next Generation episode? This was important to me because I wanted to know if the people I had on the bridge made sense. Um, I will. I'm experimenting right now with creating a story set in the TNG universe with ChatGPT. So a video of that will be upcoming. Once again, you do want to try on your own. Problem solving is important. See if you can think of a solution to this problem. And if you get stuck, use ChatGPT. It really depends on what is important to you. If you feel like this particular problem is not super important to the plot and it's more of a logistical problem, then ask ChatGPT, get a solution, and move on. Another way you can use ChatGPT or other language model AIs creatively is to test out your ideas. As stated, I'm working on a, a fan fiction short story, a teleplay, um, based on a Star Trek Next Generation episode titled The Naked Now. It's season 1, episode 3. Here's the question I asked ChatGPT. What do you think about my twist to the original The Naked Now Star Trek episode? Yeah, and sometimes you might have to prompt ChatGPT to give you a criticism. I've noticed in using it, it compliments and sometimes leaves out criticism. So make sure to ask for constructive criticism. And of course, don't take ChatGPT as gospel. Um, it's not the same as another person, right? Because it doesn't have, consciousness. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't understand human context. It has a lot of difficulty with understanding sarcasm and irony, and it's very open about that if you ask it. So keep that in mind. It's good to run this through ChatGPT and then maybe ask someone else, a beta reader or a friend, to read what you have. So the worst way you can use ChatGPT is just plagiarism, asking it to write a story for you and publishing that as if it's your own. That's unethical, and I don't support that. But likewise, you can use ChatGPT too much and let it create ideas for you, and so make sure to write your own ideas, explore on your own, and then bounce your ideas off of ChatGPT. I have found that to be rewarding and useful. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about ChatGPT and academic writing as an educator. My goal is to unlock the full potential of students' abilities, allowing them to think more critically and to develop their own voices and opinions, which requires confidence in oneself. So in this case, ChatGPT, unsurprisingly, is good and bad. You can use ChatGPT positively to answer general knowledge questions in a similar way that you would ask Google. Hey, ChatGPT, what is postmodernism? And it gives you a definition. Keep in mind that ChatGPT is sometimes wrong and it is limited to information before sometime in 2021. Of course, future iterations of ChatGPT will be updated, and maybe we'll get something that is connected to the internet with Microsoft's acquisition of something like a 49% stake in OpenAI, the research team that created ChatGPT. So You might get more accurate information going forward, but as we saw with what happened with Google's Bard, you can get really confident, official sounding information that's completely wrong. You can use ChatGPT to challenge your own ideas. Here's an example. What are the pros and cons of capital punishment? There are pros and cons to everything, so don't be discouraged if ChatGPT gives you a lot of arguments contrary to your position. It's good to approach any topic with an open mind. Once again, you want to try on your own and then see what ChatGPT says. Another thing you can do is to compare your writing to ChatGPT. Um, of course, write first, write a draft based on the topic that you're given, and then give that task to ChatGPT. Compare your writing with ChatGPT's writing. Um, ChatGPT at the moment tends to be somewhat generic, but good at basic composition tasks, especially the types of tasks you would find in ESL courses or remedial English courses, and to some extent in freshman comp classes. Do you see a temptation here to skip the first draft and let ChatGPT do that for you? I think this is terrible. That is going to promote laziness, a dependency on ChatGPT. Your skills will not develop. Definitely do the first draft on your own. Here's a way that I've used ChatGPT a lot recently, and that's to evaluate my own writing. Here's an example. Is the following paragraph persuasive? This is pretty good if you're not sure about your own writing, if you feel like you've taken it as far as you can, but you want some feedback. A person is usually better for this, especially somebody who understands writing. But not having that, ChatGPT actually has given me some interesting ideas. It can help you write more persuasively or more engagingly if you create content. And so I recommend it. But of course, just understand that it is sometimes wrong. And it is important to go as far as you can on your own and then compare. In brief, ChatGPT and future iterations of language model AIs do pose a risk to uh, instructors, teachers, professors, educators, in that I think students will be tempted to plagiarize or to get lazy and let ChatGPT do a lot of the work for them, which ultimately I think will be to the detriment of the skills of students. However, I think that instructors can embrace some use of these technologies because they're not going to go away and they're going to become increasingly better and students will use them. And I use these tools increasingly now. And I find that they are helpful as long as you do the work yourself first and use ChatGPT to help it challenge you, not to do the work for you. I think instructors can do this. For example, by giving students an assignment, say, that allows them to compare, for example, their first draft with what ChatGPT created, or asking them to prompt ChatGPT to get it to evaluate the student's writing and for the student to reflect on that and to write summaries, opinion about what ChatGPT is saying and the pros and cons of ChatGPT's evaluation, which I think helps build that sort of skepticism, that independent thinking that is so important in academic writing, and I think in writing in general. Now, I thought it would be interesting to ask ChatGPT the same question that I asked at the beginning. Will ChatGPT be the end of writing? This is what it said.
No, I don't think ChatGPT or near future generative language model AIs will be the end of writing. While these AI models are capable of generating human-like text, they are not capable of the same level of creativity, originality, and emotional depth that human writers can bring to their work. Writing is a form of art and self-expression, and it involves more than just putting words together. It requires imagination, personal experience, cultural references, and emotional intelligence, among other things. While AI language models can assist in some aspects of writing, they cannot replace the unique perspectives and creativity of human writers. Furthermore, there will always be a need for human writers in various fields, such as journalism, creative writing, marketing, and academia, where the ability to think critically, analyze information, and communicate effectively is crucial. In summary, AI language models like ChatGPT are tools that can aid in writing and communication, but they cannot replace the creativity and unique perspectives that human writers bring to their work.
That's pretty good. I agree with the basic sentiment there from ChatGPT, or at least the general idea. Um, we are people and we care what people think and feel, and that's not likely to change until at some point AI becomes sentient. And then these questions will become much more interesting. What will a novel by an AI read like? What will it talk about? What would a non-biological consciousness be like? I think, as with chess, we'll always care what other people think and feel. But as the future slowly seeps into the present, I'll have to adjust. Stay tuned to see how I do. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, peace.